The year was 2194, and humanity had finally earned its seat at the interstellar table. After centuries of technological progress, Earth had become a minor but recognized member of the Galactic Concord, a loose federation of alien civilizations that stretched across hundreds of star systems. For Elias Cade, a former combat medic turned freelance cargo runner, the galaxy was both opportunity and curse. He carried freight from one system to another in a patched-up freighter called the Nomad's Light. The jobs paid just enough to keep him fed, fueled, and in the sky. Still, Elias wasn't bitter. After the war on Titan, where he'd seen too many soldiers die young, life as a wandering pilot was a blessing. But that day, when his ship answered a distress beacon near the abandoned mining colony of Horus 9, Elias's life would change forever. The beacon was weak, stuttering through static. Horus 9 was long stripped of its oars and left as a husk orbiting a red dwarf. Most pilots ignored signals from such places, suspecting pirates or malfunctioning equipment. Elias, though, had never been able to ignore a cry for help, not since Titan. He dropped out of FTL, his freighter rattling from the sudden deceleration. The colony looked like a skeletal ruin, cracked domes, twisted towers, and dust storms swirling across the barren surface. His ship's scanner swept the surface and locked onto life signs, 6 faint pulses, clustered in the shadow of a collapsed habitat dome. Children. Middle the rescue. Elias landed the Nomad's Light in a makeshift clearing, the hull groaning as dust devils battered its sides. He grabbed his exosuit, slung a medical pack over his shoulder, and descended the ramp into Horus 9's choking winds. The beacon grew louder the closer he came to the ruins. At the edge of the collapsed dome, he found them, 6 alien children, no older than human 10-year-olds, huddled together in a cracked shelter. Their wide, luminous eyes followed him with a mix of fear and hope. Their skin shimmered faintly under the filtered starlight, mottled patterns of blue and green marking their bodies. They were Velari, a reclusive species known for keeping to themselves in deep space enclaves. Elias had only ever seen them once in passing. They were rumored to be fiercely protective of their young, and yet here these children were, alone, starving, and terrified. "Easy," Elias said through his suit speakers, kneeling slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you." The eldest, a girl with deep emerald patterns along her arms, stepped forward. Her voice trembled but carried surprising authority. "Our transport was attacked. Pirates. They took the adults, we ran. They left us here." Elias's jaw tightened. Pirates had been plaguing this sector for months, preying on freighters and outposts. If the children's guardians had been taken, they were likely sold, or worse. "Listen," he said softly. "I can get you off this rock, but my ship's not built for passengers. We'll have to make it work." The children hesitated, then nodded. Elias distributed ration bars, water packs, and emergency thermal blankets. Their small hands clutched the supplies like treasures. But just as they prepared to move, his suit's warning sensors blared. Something was approaching. From the dust storm emerged pirate skimmers, battered hovercraft bristling with makeshift weapons. A dozen raiders spilled out, their armor cobbled together from scrap, their faces hidden behind rebreather masks. "Well, well," the leader jeered. "Looks like we missed a few Velari brats. And what's this? A human Samaritan playing hero?" Elias instinctively stepped in front of the children. His pulse quickened, but his voice was steady. "Walk away. These kids aren't yours." The pirate laughed and raised his weapon. "Everything here is ours." What followed was chaos. Elias's old combat training kicked in. He triggered his exosuit's shock emitters, unleashing a pulse that sent 2 raiders sprawling. He ducked behind rubble, returning fire with his sidearm. The children screamed, clutching each other, as energy bolts scorched the air. Outnumbered and outgunned, Elias knew he couldn't hold them off for long. Then the eldest Velari girl touched his arm, her eyes glowing faintly. "Trust us," she whispered. Before he could respond, the children began to hum, a low, resonant tone that vibrated through the air. The sound intensified, harmonizing into an otherworldly chord. The dust storm itself seemed to respond, swirling violently. The pirates faltered, disoriented. Some dropped their weapons, clutching their heads as if the sound pierced their minds. In that instant, Elias struck, taking down the leader with a stun blast. The skimmers, destabilized by the storm, toppled. The surviving raiders fled into the haze. Breathing hard, Elias turned to the children. They were exhausted, their glow dimming. Whatever they had done had drained them. But they were alive. "Come on," Elias said, hoisting the weakest onto his shoulders. "We're leaving." Middle Part 2: The Chase. Getting the children aboard the Nomad's light was only the beginning. Elias set course for the nearest Concord outpost, but within hours, long-range sensors picked up a pursuing vessel. A pirate cruiser, far larger and faster than his patched freighter. "They won't stop," Elias muttered. "They know Velari are valuable." The eldest girl looked at him gravely. "If they catch us, they will take us. You should leave us here. Save yourself." Elias barked a laugh, though his throat tightened. "Not happening. I don't leave kids behind. Ever." The pirate cruiser closed the gap. Elias diverted all power to the engines, pushing the freighter beyond safe limits. The hull groaned, warning lights flared, but the Nomad's light surged forward. Still the pirates gained. Energy bolts lanced past the freighter, rocking it with near misses. Elias's shields flickered dangerously low. In desperation, he veered toward a nearby nebula, a swirling cloud of ionized gas. It was unstable, deadly to navigate, but it offered cover. Inside the nebula, turbulence battered the ship. The children clung to their seats, eyes wide. Lightning-like discharges flared across the hull. The pirate cruiser followed, though less nimble in the storms. Elias threaded the freighter through asteroid fragments and plasma arcs, his hands steady on the controls. He felt the old battlefield calm settle over him, the same clarity that had kept him alive on Titan. Finally, with a desperate maneuver, he cut power, letting the ship drift silently into a dense pocket of gas. The pirates overshot, sensors scrambled. They searched, circling, then gave up, retreating from the nebula's deadly storms. When silence returned, Elias exhaled shakily. The children cheered weakly, their voices filled with relief. Ending the reward. 2 days later, the Nomad's light docked at a Velari enclave station hidden within an asteroid belt. The alien children rushed into the arms of waiting elders, their cries of joy echoing through the hangar. Elias stood back, tired but satisfied. He expected nothing more than a quick thank you and maybe some fuel credits. But the Velari leader, a tall figure with skin patterns like flowing rivers, approached him.